One.
Boom! And welcome to the Big Honker Podcast today, brought to you by Boss Shot Shells. I am Jeff Stanfield with the world famous Andy Shaver. Happy birthday, Tony and Kylie Stanfield. Today is your day.
That's right. And here in just a second, I'll tell you who else's birthday it is. 25th of September, 1890, a church abandons one of its pillars, I guess you could say. Reverses course and says, no more of this. You got to do this. And it's actually going to tie into another event that happened today, a couple years later, which I thought is very, very interesting.
So the guy gets kicked out of his church?
No, I'm saying that a religion pulls an about face on something that they had in it.
Well, I'm so
a policy that they had in this religion.
Oh, you can't marry women.
No.
Can't get married.
No. Marriage is sacred, Jeff.
Well, no, the priest couldn't marry women no more.
Oh, right. No, that's not it. But you're kind of on the right track with marriage. A little bit.
You cannot get divorced. Or you could get divorced.
Nope.
Can't sleep with altar boys.
And that was always frowned on.
The policy of church institute.
There was a religious group, and they had a way of life.
You can only have one wife.
And that's what it was.
Mormons?
The Mormon Manifesto. September 25th, 1890. They were faced with imminent destruction of their church and way of life. Religious leaders reluctantly issued the Mormon Manifesto, in which they commanded all Latter-day Saints to uphold the anti-polygamy law of the nation. The leaders had been given little choice. If they did not abandon polygamy, they faced federal confiscation of their sacred temples and the revocation of basic civil rights for all members of the church.
Do you really believe that's why they did this?
Where are we at with like separation of church and state?
I understand, but do you really believe that's what this is about? I believe this was about it's hard at home.
Well, hold on, and I'll tell you another story.
Imagine more than one wife. Oof.
I'll tell you here in just another. I'll tell you another story. Following the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints had been practicing the doctrine of plural marriages since the 1840s. The best available evidence suggests that the church founder, Joseph Smith, first began taking additional wives in 1841, and historians estimate he eventually married more than 50 women. For a time, the practice was shrouded in secrecy, though rumors of widespread polygamy had inspired much of the early hatred and violence directed at the Mormons in Illinois. After establishing their new theocratic state centered in Salt Lake City, the church elders publicly confirmed that plural marriage was a central LDS belief in 1852. The doctrine was distinctly one-sided. LDS women could not take multiple husbands, nor could just any LDS man participate. Only those who demonstrated unusually high levels of spiritual and economic worthiness were permitted to practice plural marriage, and the church also required that the first wife give her consent. As a result of these barriers, relatively few men had multiple wives. Best estimates suggest that men with two or more wives only made up 5 to 15% of the population in the LDS community. Even though only a tiny minority of LDS practiced plural marriage, many church leaders were very reluctant to abandon it, arguing that to do so would destroy the LDS way of life. Ironically, though, the Mormon Manifesto call for an end to polygamy actually paved the way to the greater Mormon Gentile cooperation and may very well have helped ensure the religion's lasting vitality. Now, the other story that I thought was interesting that also happened on this day, in 1894, 4 years after the LDS makes this reversal, President Grover Cleveland issues a presidential proclamation pardoning followers of the LDS Church who had previously engaged in polygamous marriages or habitations arrangements considered unlawful by the U.S. government. At the time and to this day, plural marriages between man and woman, So in September of 1894, Cleveland decided that the convicted polygamists from the Church of LDS had since mended their ways. His proclamation ensured that their property and civil rights, which had been taken away during the government's effort to weed out polygamy in Utah, was then restored.
We've never had separation of church and state. So,
but I mean, you kind of like, does that not like you're free to worship however you want? And if your religion says you can have more than one wife, then
that's what I said. We've never, ever been free of separation of church and state. Everybody says we are, we're not.
Aren't you supposed to?
I'm not disagreeing with you on that.
Like, what do we care?
I don't give two shits. If they
like,
have
I guess,
five wives.
I guess, I don't know.
If you don't break the laws of the land,
but the law of the land is you can only
I don't
have
understand.
one man, one
I don't
wife.
get that. If some poor bastard wants to have 2 or 3 wives, let him.
And I mean, I kind of understand how polygamy got started because it was back on the wagon days. And if a husband died, a lot of times the women and children had nobody. And, you know, instead of
if you're going to be taken care of, you want some of the benefits.
Well, yeah, I mean, and it's just kind of a way of like looking after your own and having a little bit of sex while you're doing it. You know, like, look, she's struggling over there. Like, you know, sex makes everybody's day better.
Well, you're 3 for 4 now.
I mean, I'm going to defend him a little bit here. It came from a good-hearted man wants to take on an extra wife and 7 kids. God bless him, you know.
So do you feel the same way when a 73-year-old man gets him a 19-year-old titty dancer?
I don't care. Good for him. I hope you go out banging her.
All
right. My guy that was born today was born in 1957 in Chicago, Illinois.
John Hoover.
No.
I bet there was a John Hoover born.
Maybe. He was in Free Willy.
I don't even know if I've seen Free Willy.
He was in Donnie Brasco.
Okay, what else?
Sin City.
I have no idea.
Thelma and Louise.
Brad Pitt.
War Games.
No, 1957. I have no idea.
The Doors. War Games was 1983.
Val Kilmer?
Nope.
Wasn't he in The Doors, though?
He was. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Also, still not Brad Pitt. The Hateful Eight.
Okay, I don't know. I know who this is, but I don't know who it is. So
Kill Bill, Volume 2.
Tell me who this is.
Played Mr. Blonde in Reservoir Dogs.
I've seen all these, but I don't know who it is.
Michael Madsen.
Oh, he's the dickhead that came out yesterday about
Michael Madsen's dead.
That wasn't him then. Someone was using his name yesterday.
Well, he died in July, so must have been an old.
There was a guy yesterday come out. Let me see the picture of him.
Kind of got like a smoker's voice a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I know who he is. He's a good actor.
Yeah.
Or he was. God bless his soul.
God bless him. Died in July of a heart attack. So yeah, he kind of, like I said, he was in all these movies, but really he became Tarantino's boy. Madsen played Mr. Blonde in
What a guy to be
Reservoir
part of,
Dogs.
though.
Yeah, I mean, so he was in Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, basically anything that Tarantino put his name on. This guy had a role in it. I think he's a good actor. I enjoyed him. Been married several times, like most actors are, and then he died July 3rd, 2025, just this year. They said a heart disease with alcoholism. Bad combination. On August 1st, Tarantino hosted a private memorial service at the Vista Theater. So
he starred in 150 films and he was only worth $2 million. Yeah. He must have partied and had a good time.
Been married 4 times and he's got 6 kids.
Go.
So
there you go.
That's where it all went. Okay, my guy that died today, greatest golfer of his time.
Could be a lot of those.
Greatest golfer of the 60s.
Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer.
Best golfer of his time in the 50s.
Arnold Palmer. Got a drink named after him that they don't even call it Arnold Palmer no more. Now it's a Sonny Palmer or something.
Really?
Yeah.
He was born in 29, September 10th in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, and he died September 25th, 2016 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So he is he was one of the original 13 inductees into the World Golf Hall of Fame. When was Ben Hogan? Because I saw
He'd been in the 40s. He would have been before that, I think.
So he was the greatest after Ben Hogan. His nickname was the King.
Yeah, and then Jack Nicklaus followed up after him, and then
Tiger.
Well, Tiger
Phil?
there was somebody between them probably. There was a lot of good golfers, but then it was Tiger. Tiger's the greatest ever.
I don't know if he won all three, or I guess it would be all four. I don't know how the golf is set up. He won the Open. He won the Masters. He never won
You won the British?
the British Open.
Okay, well, he won 3 of the 4.
1 year in
Masters, U.S. Open, the
the
British
Open
Open.
Championship.
It's the Masters, the U.S. Open, the British, and there's one other one. I don't know what it is.
But so he wanted to do all 3 in 1 year. Ben Hogan had done it in 53. And then Palmer lost by 1 stroke, I think both times, in 59 and 60. So pretty good golfer. Shot a 70, a 71, a 70, and a 68. He said it was his best round of golf, and he was still a stroke short. It'd be like that sometimes, though, when you're out on the links, just crushing it. If those woods aren't for you, then it's just gonna be what it is. He was granted the Presidential Medal of Freedom by George W. Bush in 2004. Not many golfers have gotten that.
Let me tell you a story about him.
Sure,
So he was in, he's from Latrobe, Pennsylvania.
he is.
Pulled up, had a brand new Cadillac, mid-60s, pulls up there, and there's a black guy working at the where they wash your car and gas it up and stuff, and he's wiping it down, and he gets whispering, and he's wiping out the floorboards, and there's a golf tee in there. He said, Mr. Palmer. He goes, yes, sir. He goes, what's that for? He said, well, that's what you put your balls on when you drive. He goes, damn, these Cadillacs got everything in them.
Yeah. So let's see here. On September 25th, 2016, shortly after his 87th birthday, while awaiting heart surgery at the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, he was admitted 3 days earlier to undergo testing on his heart. After his funeral, he was cremated. His ashes were scattered. His estate was valued to be how much?
I'm going to say he had a big deal with Pennsylvania. I'm going to say 120 million.
You're way off. Way low.
12 million.
Way low.
Oh, way low.
87 million. It was divided between his 2 daughters, his second wife, who received $10 million, 8 employees who received $25,000 each. Boy, that's
Kind of a child ass.
devote your life to this guy and you get $25K.
I'm thinking too.
And his charity, Arnie's Army, which received $10 million. So
Good for him.
yeah, he could have been a little bit more generous with his
$25,000, but then people are like, well, wipe my ass with that shit.
875 million. And
$875 million. He gave him $25,000 a piece. Wow. Hopefully they still have jobs. Maybe for Christmas they'll get fucking ham.
no joke. All right, that's all I got today. Goodbye, everybody. Be safe.
Peace. Goodbye. God bless.